Welcome to the road to $1 million in cryptocurrency investing, where I'm going to try and document my journey over the next 300 days to see if it's possible to become a crypto millionaire. Now, if you're new, my name is Ash. I'm an entrepreneur and I believe in financial education because that is the only way you and I get to build financial independence. So like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join me on this journey. This is day number 8. Let's start. All right, everybody, welcome back to the dashboard here, and welcome back to the spreadsheet. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and open this up here. Right. Okay, let's make sure that we've got chat active. All right, I think for now we should go ahead and write a Twitter message for a change. Dear at Fishswap, we really hope the token price increases. I've got 300 days to go and so many people watching on live stream. Hashtag fish swap app. Hashtag BSC and hashtag pancake swap. Nice. Let's go ahead and grab the live stream link here. We'll just grab the YouTube link. All right, there we go. Swap. Okay, let's mute that. And let's paste it in there. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. All right, cool. So yeah, welcome back, everybody. This is the old spreadsheet, and as you can see, our portfolio is down quite a lot, by quite a bit actually. And so I just want to give you a quick update as to what's happening here, specifically in the markets. All right, so as you can see, Bitcoin, for example, has been dropping and hanging around that 30,000 or rather that $36,000 level, but it has actually been dropping quite a bit recently, and that means that our portfolio has dropped significantly. So basically everything that I've mined so far is now worth considerably less. It's now worth considerably less, but we're holding on. We're not selling. We're hodling, okay? And so that's something that I think is going to pan out positively over the long run. However, we did see something of a Wyckoff distribution pattern happening here over the last few weeks, you could say, and now we're sort of in a Wyckoff accumulation phase. If you just kind of apply those chart patterns here, I'll make a video explaining what that whole thing means in another video. Ethereum is also down considerably. I mean, we are now back up to around 2,500. That seems to be the new sort of support level, but still not that great, unfortunately. Let's go to the trading view here. It might make more sense to look at it this way. And where are we right now? So yeah, right around that 2,500. So there's been some buying activity here recently, but also yesterday we saw some dumping happening, and yeah, not very good at all. Unfortunately, that also means that our daily average earnings for these cryptocurrencies, by the way, in case you are new, I am a cryptocurrency miner. I've been a cryptocurrency miner since December of 2020, and a lot of our portfolio right now, or a large part of our portfolio right now, is because of mining revenue. And so I have about 13 Bitcoin ASIC miners. I've had to turn quite a few of them off. I probably only have like maybe 20% or like 30% of my farm active right now, and that is only bringing in an average of around $9 per day, as opposed to like the previous high, which was like just under $100 a day. Yeah, not that great, not that great at all. The same is happening on the Ethereum side. Yes, we are still hovering around a daily average of around $50, but again, it's a bit painful, man. It's a bit painful. Luckily, we paid off all our hardware, so we didn't buy anything at scalper prices, which is really, really important. But I can just imagine how difficult this must be for miners all around the world right now, especially if you still owe money on your rigs. Yeah, so in terms of our profitability, we dropped. We were at like just under $200 per day on ETH not so long ago, and then it just kind of like tanked. And this is attributed to a few factors. The first being the increase in mining difficulty. And so if you're a miner, you'll probably realize, or you probably have already realized, that there is everybody around the world is trying to mine right now. So that means the difficulty of the mining algorithm, in this case ET hash, has increased. It's considerably higher than it has been, say, this time last year. Okay, so that's contributing a lot to this ROI, if you like. The same with Bitcoin mining. We've seen a huge surge in the difficulty, and of course Bitcoin is something that continues to get more difficult every day, since it kind of just gets closer and closer to that 4-year halving period. And so in simple language, it's getting harder to mine and it's also getting more expensive to mine. And so if you are trying to get into mining, I would probably caution against it unless you can find hardware that is very, very cheap. Okay, if you find hardware that is super expensive, if you live in the UAE, for example, and you find hardware that is just so expensive, I really do not recommend trying to get into mining right now. There are lots of other options, one of which being decentralized finance. So check this out. Row number 3 here, Fishswap. It is a decentralized app on the Binance Smart Chain, and it's also responsible for half of my total daily revenue, which is awesome. Actually, more than half here. So we're doing about $100 a day. And the best part about this is that it compounds daily, which means it scales over time. So that means eventually, in not so long from now, it'll be $200 per day. Then $500 per day, $1,000 per day, $2,000 per day, $10,000 per day. It sounds crazy, but that is exactly how it works. I'm going to show you in case you haven't seen this before. So let's look at our profitability over the last 24 hours here. And so I'm going to show you profitability on Bitcoin. Of course, I've got to log into my pool here, which is F2 pool. All right, I connect my ASIC miners directly to F2 pool. So let's see here. So we currently have a profitability of around, let's see what it is here, 0.00025,814. Oops, one too many zeros there. All right, perfect. So $9.41, actually considerably lower than the previous day. The pools are also not paying out very much these days, since they're also losing quite a bit of money. And then, of course, over the last 24 hours on ETH, we've mined about $49 flat, you could say, roughly. I measure this around the same time every day. With F2 pool, you can only measure this once per day, so regardless of whatever time I check it, it's always going to be the same. But with something like ETH, you can measure it on a real-time basis. And so I measure that around 11 a.m. every single day. Every 24 hours at 11 a.m., I go ahead and I put that value in there. And so that helps me track how much ETH is coming in every day. So yeah, that is a little bit about the mining revenue. By the way, if you want access to the spreadsheet, or at least a template like this, so that you can track your own investments, I will link that in the description below for free, and you can try and track your own investments. I highly recommend that you track your investments if you want to see how successful you're doing over time. And so the purpose of this particular live stream is to teach you how to do that. All right. So let's go over to Fishswap, which is something I am quite bullish on and have been so since it launched. I'm also really excited about a new project that I might announce tomorrow that we'll be adding to the portfolio. We might put in $1,000 there as well and see how that grows and scales over time. It might considerably accelerate beyond Fishswap, at least in the beginning phase, and then it might level out and we'll have two sources of income similar to what you see here. So over the last 24 hours, let's have a look at the platform here. And this is doing about 982 fish. All right, so 982 fish. So about $123 in Fishswap right now, which is really cool. Very exciting. Okay, so how does this work, and why do I say that we could potentially get to like $1,000 per day? Like, what is that all about, right? Well, that is all to do with this amazing financial strategy and vehicle called compounding interest. So in traditional financing, if you want to, say, build a portfolio, and you want to build a portfolio that increases considerably over time, okay, you would most likely invest in something that yields interest. All right, and that's usually something like an index fund, a mutual fund, an ETF, something that gives you a return on investment every single year. Okay, and so when you invest in those kinds of vehicles in the traditional financing world, or in the traditional finance world, you're going to earn, say, roughly between, I don't know, 10 to maybe, if you're lucky, 20%. And that compounds over time. So over, say, a period of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you might actually accumulate quite a bit of money. So we're going to take that same principle and apply it to decentralized finance. In other words, to cryptocurrency investing, where we can do the same. We can earn interest and compound it over time. And we can see amazing results, considerably better than what you would see in the traditional finance market. So let me show you what we are working with here. So in Fishswap, we have, we are currently looking at an interest rate of around 553% per year. What does that look like daily? That's around 4.26% per day. So I'm just going to take this value here, 4%. I'm going to put it into our calculator. So let's say our principal investment, which is $2,400, compounds at 4% per day. And we're going to leave it in there for, let's say, 1 year. Not 10 years, not 50 years. Okay, let's keep it in there for 1 year. But let's compound it daily, not yearly, daily. All right. And so when we do that, you'll see something amazing happen. All right. You end up with $3.9 million. Now, quick disclaimer, this is variable. Okay. It goes down the more people invest. So if you have more liquidity, as we call it, the investment, your investment, if you invest in this, it's called liquidity. So the more liquidity is added to this investment pool, the lower the interest rate gets. The less liquidity in the investment pool, the higher the interest rate gets. And so that's something to keep in mind. And that's probably, you could say, one of the biggest risks with using this strategy, or rather depending on the strategy. So again, this is not financial advice. It's just meant to teach you. Okay, so let's see how it works. On the first ever day that I invested, That is called my principal investment. After 30 days, you'll notice that I earn $5,500. Now, where does this money come from magically? Well, it comes from me taking every single bit of interest that I'm earning every day. So every 24 hours, whatever I'm earning, in this case, it's about $100 right now. I'm taking that same $100. I'm not cashing it out. I'm putting it back into the investment. Okay? So I'm doing that every single day, day in and day out for 30 days. After 30 days, I will end up with $7,200. Okay, it's just math. It's just math. All right, after 60 days, I end up with $26,000. Okay, so what happens if I want to get to something like $1,000 a day? Well, all I got to do is just 10x my investment. So right now, this investment, which is about 20,000 fish, is earning about $100 a day, about $120 per day. So if I wanted to 10x that, all right, let's open up a quick calculator here so you can see what I'm doing. So let's say I wanted to earn passive income, which I want to cash out every day. I want to earn passive income at least $1,000 per day. All I've got to do is 10x the amount of fish that I have in the pool, right? So let's say I get to 209,000. That means every single day, just by leaving my fish invested in the pool, I will be paid based on the current rate, assuming it stays that high, I will be paid $1,000 worth of fish tokens per day, which I can easily just cash out. So in other words, I can trade it instantly and I can have a stable coin, which I then can go and send to my bank account via an exchange. Okay, so that's something I want to kind of train you to do here on these live streams is to think like an investor, not so much like a trader. All right, traders, I mean, no offense to traders out there, but traders are typically looking for short, quick gains. Okay, so a couple $1,000s, maybe tens of thousands of dollars if they're using large sums of money, but they're looking for quick gains. All right, investors are looking for life-changing games, but are willing to play the long game. And so as an investor, which I'm hoping that you will be if you follow this channel, is that you start to think in terms of the long game. All right, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. All right, what would your life look like at that period of time? All right, so cool. Let me show you how I go ahead and compound this investment. So first thing I'm going to do is click on farms, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to choose harvest. Now when I harvest, it's going to ask me to pay a gas fee. Make sure you've got BNB in your wallet to cover the gas fee. Alrighty. Once it harvests, it'll go to 0 and the money will be in my account. So there it is, 70 fish tokens in my account. Let's go to the farm section and do the pool section rather, and do the same thing. So let's go ahead and choose harvest. Let's pay the gas fee. And as soon as it extracts and submits the contract, it'll go to 0. And it'll show up in my account, which is really awesome. So I've got 988. Let's see if we can update that really quickly. All right, 1 second. Oops, what did I do? Okay, so here it is, one more time, 988. All right, so 988. So let's go ahead and put it back in. We'll press the plus sign right here. We'll choose max, and we'll choose confirm, pay the third gas fee, click confirm, and that is how we compound our investment. So I'm gonna be picking, or rather I'm gonna be testing and then picking a new vehicle very similar to this, a new DeFi vehicle that is very, very, very similar to this, which hopefully will give us a similar result or a much better result. All right, let's go ahead and check the contract to see why that has not yet been submitted. All right, so I'm not saying anything there. It says failed. So let's go ahead and try again. Let's refresh. Let's connect. And let's click that, choose max, click confirm, pay the gas fee. By the way, whenever your contract does fail, like what you just saw, you won't pay the gas fee. All right, so if your contract gets submitted, but it does not go through, you will not pay the gas fee. You only pay the gas fee when your contract gets submitted. And so that's something that's really quite important. So as you can see, we have just under 22,000. We have just under 22,000 fish at the moment, which you could say 21,903 times 0.127. So present value of fish that I have invested is around $2,700. This would have been a lot higher. Let's just say that. It would have been a lot higher if the fish price had remained stable. And so I think that, yeah, if you're in this game, you probably want to, you probably want to be patient. As you can see here, we did have a parabolic blow off at around $1. And then it just kept tanking and tanking and tanking. I got in around here, you could say, but then, you know, I didn't cash out. I just kept reinvesting. And it dropped, man. It really dropped. So technically, I should have about 3 times the money, or rather, at least 2 times the money. But unfortunately, we are currently at like one of the lowest points right now. And so the goal or the hope is that over time, this will effectively increase in value. If it does, it'll kind of even out. Luckily, I can still take out my original principal, but that would just mean that I would be restarting from scratch, which, you know, kind of sucks. All right, cool. Let's head over to the chat section to see if anybody is saying anything here. All right, cool. So we got a couple of messages from Mr. Sparsh. Hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. I appreciate you hanging out. I don't understand what you're saying, but I appreciate you hanging out today. Let's actually see if we have any other messages on the other streams here. Alrighty, let's have a look. Let's actually see if we have... Alright, I should have muted that. Okay, so no other messages, which means that I'm going to tell you about something else. Alright, cool. So guys, if you are somebody who is maybe in a difficult financial situation, you're not that well off to invest large amounts of money in these kinds of projects, but you are interested in using your knowledge and your talent to build a business online. Well, if that's you, I'd like to invite you to our workshop, which is totally free, and I'm going to teach you in this workshop how to build your very own online course business. All right, we'll teach you how to go from 0 to sales in less than 60 days. Again, the workshop is totally for free. I'll have a link to that in the description below. Bluebrain is my company, which I started over 3 years ago, and it's been doing really, really well. I'm very, very excited to empower more people with this knowledge. All right, I do seem to have a few other chat messages. All right, cool. So we can see somebody called Instant Discovery. I appreciate you hanging out. Welcome to the stream. I noticed that Fishswap Dev is the big holder of fish tokens. I have a big concern on the rug pull, especially that the platform is very new and no big audit has been done. All right, so that is that's a very, very valid point, extremely valid point. I honestly agree with you. To be honest, I'm kind of a bit weary about that myself. I did ask many times. Let's actually address this right now. So I'm going to just share my screen one more time. And let's address this right now. So let's have a look on BSC scan here. Let's look at holders. So if I'm not mistaken, you're basically saying that this account here, account number 2, holds about 31% of the total liquidity, or rather the total value of Fish, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously this one right here is the contract address. So that I imagine is the thing that kind of powers the automated market maker. So that's kind of normal, about 28%. Yeah, I have to admit, man, this right here is definitely something that is a little bit alarming. I hope that they're going to use those funds. My hope, this is just a hope. And again, with anything in this particular space, you kind of want to only invest what you might be willing to lose. All right. And so if you put money in here, my personal advice is please only put in what you'd be happy losing, not your life savings, not your family's savings, your kids' education savings, none of that stuff. Only put in what you think you can use. And that applies to all kinds of cryptocurrency, not just Fishswap. And so for me, yes, I do have a sizable investment in there. Yes, I do think that there is a relatively large risk. But how could someone like you or me hedge against such a risk? Well, let's actually address that right now. So right now, you could say that the Fish price is around 12 cents. All right? And because the Fish price is 12 cents, it means that you could buy quite a lot of tokens. Let's say 1,000 tokens for $120, right? If you just do the math. So 12 cents a token. Now, around the next, you could say, week and a half to 2 weeks, we're going to see a few listings on the centralized exchanges. So the first one is MXC, the second one is who.com, and the third one is BitThumb. All right, so MXC is this one right here. The second one is who.com, and the third one is BitThumb. All right, so why am I telling you about this and why does it matter? Well, the idea is that around the 12th to the 14th of June, they're going to list the Fish token on these platforms at $1, at a $1 price point, which presents a potential arbitrage opportunity. Now, what does that mean for investors like you and I? If you are an investor, if I'm an investor, what does that mean? That means if I bought, say, let's say how much I have here. I have 22,000 tokens. I could potentially take my original principal, which is $2,500, and I could sell it at $1 per token, which means I'll get back my original principal, and everything else that I'm trading with is completely free, right? And so what that means is I've hedged against risk. So that means even if there is a rug pull, all I'm losing is the interest that I've gained, not my original principal. Now, again, this is not financial advice, and I encourage every single person to do their own research and definitely never make decisions based on what someone else says, whether they're an influencer, a friend, whoever. Don't make financial decisions based on what other people say. Don't make financial decisions based on what I say. Rather, do your own research and only invest what you're comfortable losing. So in this case, if you, for example, arbitraged your original principal, you'd get back that money in the form of a stable coin or whatever, and then you're just trading, or you're just rather investing with the principal, with the interest, and that's good. That's good because that means you have no risk effectively. All right, so Instant Discovery says, if I were you, better sold and check other platforms, use BSC to check and avoid rug pull and honeypot. Yeah, I mean, totally true and totally valid. I think that's something that every single person should really consider that, you know, you don't want to be in that situation caught flat-footed. You always want to kind of diversify, or maybe even completely de-invest if you don't trust something like this. Rug pulling, unfortunately, is a very, very common practice here in this whole crypto DeFi space, especially within the bull run. So please, please, please always do your research. Instance Discovery, thank you so much for sharing that information. Thanks for the feedback. I hope my concerns are false, and let's explore this crypto world together. Cheers. Yeah, man, of course. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hopefully other viewers will also be aware of this and not go in very heavy, as well as kind of diversify the risk. All right, cool. So guys, with that, I want to say thank you so much for hanging out in today's live stream. Again, not a very long episode today, but just to show you what consistency looks like. And like I said, on this 300+ day journey, anything can happen. I could potentially reach my goal of $1 million in crypto, or I could completely fail. A rug pull could happen, as you've seen earlier, or some other catastrophe could happen. The interest rate might go to zero, or the coin might be completely useless. Okay, anything can happen. And so if you're doing something like this, always try and do your own research. So that I want to say thank you so much. Like if you found this valuable, subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and definitely share this if other people could benefit from it. That would really, really help spread the word and create more awareness about this particular kind of education. On the right side, you see my wonderful social media handles. Feel free to follow me over there, and I will see you in tomorrow's live stream. Take care, everybody.